Hi everyone, good morning. Welcome back to Pine Hollow Auto Diagnostics. Today we have another quirky European, a 2008 Volvo XC70 with 233,000 miles. That's pretty impressive. These are pretty solid cars. The owner has been recently having this problem. He said his transmission feels like it's gonna break. Sometimes it doesn't shift, upshift. He has trouble accelerating on the highway. He says it's a dangerous situation. Sometimes it drives fine. So he came over for a diagnosis last week. I drove it around. It seemed to drive pretty smoothly. Like, I did notice that the ABS light was on the dash, and in these cars everything's interrelated, so could an ABS problem cause a transmission problem? You wouldn't think so, but we have to follow the data. So here's a health report. In the engine control module, we have vehicle speed signal, general failure, no subtype information. So that is a code that says, hey, there's a problem with another module that's reporting the speed, and that would be the ABS module. Now the ABS has one code: left front wheel speed sensor, general failure, general electric failure. Interesting. Transmission down here, no issues. So after last time, I gave the owner a scanner. It says just collect some data and know if there's any correlation between the ABS light being on and the transmission shifting weird. He did that, and he gave me a very interesting observation. He says if he starts the car up cold and the ABS light is on, and you start accelerating, the transmission will have major issues. If he starts driving slowly until the ABS light goes out, then smooth sailing. So now we're definitely suspecting the ABS problem interfering with the transmission. Let's pull it in the shop, do some research, get an oscilloscope on these ABS sensors, and can we come up with a repair? Volvo parts are difficult to get in this part of the state since our dealership closed down, but can we, the owner needs to drive 7 hours today for Christmas, and can we come up with a solution to basically disable this circuit and make the transmission shift fine? Let's go to OEM service information. Alright, so last time took a look at the live ABS data, didn't see anything abnormal. All the wheel speeds were normal. So now we're doing a visual inspection of these front ABS sensors. So here's the right front, no issues with this one. I popped off the little plastic cover. This is nice and tight, clipped in. So that's our known good. We can measure that one. On the left front, I noticed this connector is just kind of flopping around, and I just pulled it off like really easily, so it wasn't really clipped in. I wonder why. So the pins seem to be okay. There is a little brown crap, a little rust color in the connector. That's not a good thing. So that's one difference. It's kind of suspicious. So what we can do is clean this up, plug this back in, make sure the pins are tight, and take it for another spin. If it's perfect, then this car is fixed, no parts required. If it still acts up, what I want to do is just leave this sensor unplugged and see if the transmission shifts fine. We don't suspect wiring problems because the signal is there most of the time, but this right here is kind of suspicious. Alright, so for good luck, I'm going to spray some Deoxit. This is my favorite contact cleaner of choice. So this is the right front, and see how it clips in nice and tight. Everything's fine. Let's go to the other side. Do the same procedure here, just a little Let's see if this guy clips in nice and tight as well. It's not clipping in. That's an issue. See, the weather pack is still okay. The pins are okay. Yeah, it's not happy there. So let me play with this thing, see if I can get it to clip on. So to create an attachment point for the zip tie, I'm just heating up my handy pick and then making a really small hole in the casing of the ABS sensor right here. Just enough for the zip tie to go through, then it'll have a nice anchor point to hold down that connector. Maybe a little bit more. I don't know if this is an approved Volvo repair method. I didn't see it in the service info. Okay, let's see if the zip tie can slip right through that little hole in the plastic. Alright, so here's the finished product. You can see the zip tie is going through that little hole I melted in the plastic and holding this connector down very securely. This is the OEM little shield that's clipped on. It's actually holding the zip tie, helping it out. So let's put the wheels back on. Take this thing for a test drive. It should be smooth sailing. That's my hope. Alright, so the potential repair is complete. We just have to go for a test drive. But in OEM service info, this is the research I did last time to basically come up with a hypothesis of why an ABS would be affecting the transmission shifting. And right here, in the description and operation for this traction control system, we see the inputs and outputs. All these systems are tied together. Input signals and output signals. So right here, transmission control module, it gives information about if the reverse gear is applied. It also gives the BCM where the gear shift lever is, or if you're in manual mode. And then in return, the brake control module to the TCM says it receives a request to delay a gear shift in the event of a substantial speed difference in the front wheels. So that right there, I think, was causing the customer complaint. If the brake control module saw a difference in wheel speeds of the front wheels, because that connector was loose on the left front, then that could potentially cause the TCM to not shift the gear. So, moment of truth, let's take this thing for a spin, see how it drives. So we're clearing all the trouble codes in the car. Alright, so no trouble lights. Let's shut it off. Wait a few seconds. Open the door, close the door, take the key out, and then put the key in, start it up. So ABS, traction, everything's happy, right? Let's go for a drive. So the Volvo is driving absolutely fuss-free, just like it rolled off the showroom floor. So smooth. Feels like a tank. The owner can't believe it that a zip tie fixed his ABS problem and his transmission problem.
2 for 1. 2
for 1, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So I'll guarantee this repair. What do you think, for a year? Is that fair enough?
Sure.
Until the zip tie gets dry or something. but you'll know what it is. So awesome. Merry Christmas, and we'll see you on the next one.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.